gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. This is Brunch Boxing. I'm your host, Matt. A late abbreviated edition of Brunch Boxing. There's so much going on in the boxing world. We couldn't leave you without a dope show to step to. So we had to get one in for you guys because we got a lot to talk about. Joining me right now, we have the host of Brunch Boxing, the host with the most, the master of the walk and talk, the master of the sit and spit, the John Madden of boxing. Looks like he's ready to go a few rounds. He got the wild card shirt on. EzRaw boxing himself. What's going on, Ezra?
You know what I realized I look like right now with my hair and my beard? The guy that helps Tim Allen in Tool Time.
Oh,
I look,
Al, Al,
huh?
Al.
Yeah, I look like Al. I need a haircut. Man, I need a haircut. I need to shave this beard too. I look exactly like Al.
Oh man! And of course, behind the scenes, on the ones and twos, the super producer, the master marionette himself, our guy Huey P. What's going on, Huey?
Doing good, doing good. We got a short show, a little late start, but it's still going to be good. I'm a little disappointed we didn't have a lot of boxing this week, but I guess we'll talk about football.
Well, it's like this. What's one of the best fights in the world, right? Hagler Hearns. It wasn't a 12 rounder. Didn't go 12. It didn't even go 10. Right? It went 3. That's what this show is going to be. It's not going to be. You're not here for. Oh man, we'll watch every round. Right? No, but the 3 rounds you're going to get from us are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, this is going to be the Hagler Hearns of podcasting. It's going to be a great, great show, but we're here for a good time, not a long time today. That's basically how it's going to be. And do we have the COO today?
Do you want to address the comment to start? It leads into our first topic pretty well.
Well, listen, I think those who see the show title see the show title. It's called Law and Disorder because, in the words of the great rapper Noriega, niggas on the run eating. And right now, Tank is on the run eating. We got to start with Tank. Talk about it, Huey.
All right. So Gervonta Tank Davis this week had an arrest warrant issued. Currently, still not apprehended. He was also stripped of his WBA title. So, Matt, I'm going to let you go into the entire situation. You spoke on this a few months ago. Tell us what you know.
Well, obviously, we know that he had a lawsuit filed against him for an incident in October where he was accused of going into the club where his former girlfriend worked, grabbing her by her neck, allegedly assaulted her, threatening her, dragging her around the club. Now, interestingly enough, it was a civil suit. There were no criminal charges filed. But after reviewing surveillance footage and getting corroborated statements from the alleged victim, Miami Gardens police decided to charge Tank Davis with assault and kidnapping and all this other stuff. Now, the problem is for Tank, Tank has not turned himself in. Tank is still currently a fugitive, and his whereabouts are unknown, which is crazy if you think about it. One of the most famous boxers in the world, somebody knows where he's at. He needs to turn himself in. Now, in looking at his past legal cases and things of that nature, I gotta be honest with you. It looks like Tank is going to jail this time. It looks like he's going to jail this time. He's gonna have to sit down for a little bit. I believe that is why he was stripped of his WBA title. I think behind the scenes, the powers that be know that he's gonna have to sit down a little bit. And I also think, and I told you guys this before when we were talking about the PBC schedule, I did say Tank is not penciled in on the PBC schedule. I believe that maybe they knew something was coming, and maybe they know that he's gonna have to sit down. So we may not even see Tank Davis in the ring this year.
Is that surprising to me? No. And there's no nothing to be said for Tank as far as like excuse or anything like that. It seems like Tank is just it seems like Tank's life's in a mess, and it seems like he's dangerous in my personal opinion. And I think that everything that he has coming to him is deserved at this point. As far as the boxing side of it, we've been talking about this since last year, maybe even a little bit before that. He's not a star you can count on. He's not a guy that you could build around. And sometimes the crown is too heavy for the head, right? Heavy lies the crown, right? Um, and some guys just aren't built to be the face of boxing. They're not built to. They can't get the other. It takes both parts to get both parts in order, right? To really do that, right? If you see guys like that, like it takes an extreme amount of focus to be the top guy. It's hard to be the face of boxing. It's hard to have that pressure on you 24/7. It's hard to that and to keep everything in order, right? When you do that, and you just can't seem to get that right. I don't feel bad for Tank at all. I don't know anything like that. Like I said, I don't have no excuse for him. I don't nothing. I think that whatever he gets, he gets. That's honestly it. Just a horrible, constantly horrible stories, situations coming out of it. But yeah, I'm like I said, I don't expect to see Tank in the ring this year. We might not see Tank for a while, and by the time you see him, that fall off might be insane, right? When you're like going through all this and the living your life like this and everything like that, it could, that stuff could really weigh on you. And then especially if he goes to prison for a while, whatever, what is he going to be when he gets out? That fall off might be insane for him, right? So it's really just a wasted, honestly, talent and career of what Tank could have been, because Tank did have obviously was a star. Obviously Tank had the ability. Now we can say what that ability was at what, versus certain guys, but his ability was good. He had great. He had great speed, great power, great timing, and very good skills. And it just seems to me like it's never going to be fully, it's never going to be fully. We're never fully going to see it in the ring. We're never going to see what his full potential could have been, and that's what happens. That's like the thing with boxing. That's the parts that we don't see outside the ring is not the parts we're considering of like how tough it is to actually do this.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to say, I did hear you say everything that Tank has happened to him is deserved, and you're right about that. But does not mean that we can't hope for a better outcome for him. Just on a personal level, you gotta hope that he gets his mind together and gets the help that he needs. Because listen, this is only gonna go one way. This is only gonna go one way. When it comes to situations of domestic abuse, it almost always ends in tragedy. Okay, so we don't want it to go there. So I'm hoping that he gets the help he needs, get back on track, and and then we can talk boxing.
Yeah, but when you say that, right, I would, if I were to say that I would mean I hope he gets the help he needs so that everyone else is safe. So I don't hope that for Tank. I hope he gets his stuff. I don't really give a damn about Tank. I'll be honest with you. I don't really give a damn about Tank. Whatever happens to him, I like I said, all his actions show me who he is. As far as I hope he gets the help he needs, everything like that. That's for me. The only reason I would say that is so everyone else is safe, because he seems like he's
Yeah,
dangerous to
yeah,
other people.
yeah. And you know what? When you're dangerous to other people, sometimes you become a danger to yourself too. And it's this is, I wouldn't even call it a cautionary tale, because he shouldn't be a cautionary tale. Like this guy had everything set up for him to be the guy, to be the man, to earn tens of millions of dollars, like riches beyond his wildest dreams, and be able to have generational wealth, and be the face of a company, to be the face of a sport, and just just can't get right. There's no other way to put it. You just can't get right, man. This is just an unfortunate situation. And although they're not victims in this, I do feel bad for PBC and the people that work behind the scenes that were relying on this guy, because he was made the face of the company. He was made the guy, the bell cow, So that could have been a Boots Ennis and David Benavidez and a whole cast of characters, but they chose Tank, and then now it's like, damn, where do they go from here? Now, obviously, the schedule, like I said before, is penciled in without Tank. They weren't counting on Tank this year, and if he would have showed up, that's gravy. They'll make accommodations for him, but now they got to roll something out. They have to roll out the schedule. They have to roll out the schedule soon. I'm hearing that they could be announcing something as early as next week, Tuesday, for their March event. They got to get something rolling soon because, the calendar's a little bit bare without PBC. Now, let me ask you a question. You said that you don't think we'll see Tank in the ring this year. I agree, we may not see him this year. But if Tank were allowed to fight while this case is going on, would you put him on?
No, I wouldn't. But here's the thing, though. That's easy for me to say. My whole business isn't based on it, right? My family doesn't eat based off of that. So me, from the luck, the position I'm in, luckily, right, I don't have to depend on it, so I can say that easily. Maybe that's harder to say when you're running a business. And
the revenue... One thing about you don't like other people making money. We know that. We won't get into that on the air, but you don't like other people making money.
That's a conversation to be had another day, my friend. But like I said, the whole your whole business is based on it. People eating is based on it. People's families eating. People putting their kids through college. All those things is based on it. It's a much tougher position to be in. But I really, at some points, right? You gotta say no. I can't touch this, right? Jake Paul made that decision. Okay, and now that we see that this is actually going to turn into something bigger, Jake Paul was right to pull out of that, and that did cost that look at Jake Paul got knocked out, got his chin broke, had to fight Anthony Joshua because he needed to replace that opponent, right? But he had to make that decision. That was the right decision to do, not to go through with it. I think the PBC has to make the same decision, and I know as tough as that may be, and like I said, it's easy to say. Very fortunate position for me to say. My money don't depend on it, but I think that if you were, if you weren't dependent on it in any financial way, everyone would say no. But it's just because when money gets involved, it becomes a much tougher question.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would, because here's the thing. Whether he fights this year or next year or the year after, if he ever fights again, they're going to bring this up regardless. So I think if you're PBC, you can't care about the optics at this point. Just roll them out, get them out there, make your money, finish out the contract, and move on with your life. I think you can't worry about the optics.
Here's the thing, though. You say finish out the contract. Now, are you saying that they're kind of obligated to do it, or are you saying that you would cash in on what you have there to do it?
Well, I think they're obligated to do it.
Okay, so that's right. That's where I disagree, right? I mean, I don't know the contract, so that would be into something that we really don't know about. But I'm sure there's some clause that says that.
No, this is not the NFL or NBA where they have.
We don't know that, but that's the thing. I don't know that, right? As far as okay, here's the thing, and we're going to get into this, of course, with Vergil, right? There's certain phrases in terms of putting in the contracts that allow a way out under stuff like this. So I don't know what's there or not, but I really don't feel that they are obligated right now. I feel like there's probably most likely an opportunity for them to say, no, we're not going to do this right now. It's not, not good for our company to have that image. I'm pretty sure they could do that. But like I said, I'm not looking at the contract.
If I'm dumb, I do it anyway.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. If you're saying they're obligated to do it, then of course, right, you have to do it. No choice to get around it. But I'm saying if they're not obligated to do it, and it's just strictly for financial gain, I don't think it looks great. But like I said, that's coming from a position of, where it doesn't affect me financially. It's not a financial decision. So
let me ask you a question. Do you think we have seen the last of Tank Davis in the boxing ring?
No, but I think we've seen the last of him in the boxing ring for maybe a year and a half.
So if we haven't seen the last of him in the boxing ring, this is going to come up regardless. You might as well get it out the way if the judge allows it. because
Yeah,
he's
but
probably going to have a lot of restrictions set.
yeah, but here's the thing though, right? And maybe they don't care about this. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking on that end. The image of it doesn't look great. And just because I said you'll see Tank in the boxing ring, don't necessarily mean I think you'll see Tank in the boxing ring with PBC.
Oh, no. It'll be with PBC.
We'll see.
I'm pretty sure they're not terminating his rights.
Let's let it play out.
Yeah, I guess so. I just think it's just a stupid situation. Why would you get yourself in this situation? You know?
He's not in certain situations, he's not a smart guy, man. He's
Yeah,
he's reckless. And I just like the thing is like we look at all these other sports, right? And they make commitments to these guys. We've seen the baseball contracts and all that. And you're making a commitment, right? You're I know that you're like you're saying there's ways out of contract and stuff happens. But when you pay that amount of money, that person turns into a business. It's just so much money. That's just what happens. It's not a person anymore. That's a business, right? That person is a business, and you're putting money in that business, hoping that not only does it operate on the field, but it operates off the field correctly. That's an important part that we really don't talk about a lot until stuff like this comes up. Tank is a business, and like I said, when a lot of these guys they want to be the top guys, and we based it only on ability. We watch these guys, and we said, "Oh, that this is their ability. They could be a top guy in the sport." But it's like, hey, there's so many other factors to what it takes to be a top guy in the sport, and it's like that guy locking in and realizing that I am a business. Or he gets the right people in with him that can, like a handlers that would say, hey, we got to go here, and we got to do this, and we got to make sure we watch and not make these mistakes and slip up here, because this is where people slip up. That's the spot that the things that we do not talk about when we say, hey, give this guy the opportunity to be the face. Like we're looking at Ryan Garcia. Nothing he has showed me that he could be the face of the sport. Because on the outside of his life, it seems too hectic. It seems like he's not mature enough. It seems like he doesn't make good decisions. It seems like he allows the fame and everything he runs with that, right? And that's nothing that's I think sometimes we have to look at when we say this guy's going to be the future of the sport, or the future pound for pound guy, a future face of the sport, a future pay-per-view guy. It's like, well, can he handle it, that situation?
Yeah. Vis-a-vis Ryan Garcia, I don't know if you saw that he's been doing content with Sarah Safari, who you probably have no clue who she is.
Yeah, she's the fitness chick.
Yeah, and with Bradley Martin. Just so boxing fans know, that gym is full of PEDs. I'm just letting you know. I'm not accusing of anything. I'm just letting you guys know that gym is a PED safe haven. So
I want to break some more news. Every gym is a PED safe haven. You go to your local LA Fitness, that is a PED safe haven. No. I want. Let me tell you something. I go to the gym. I used to go to the gym a lot. Any gym you go to, those guys that are that work those guys that work a 9 to 5 and go to the gym after and are built like a Mr. Olympia. Let me tell you something. There's a little assist there. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something. Any gym you go to is a PED safe haven. All right.
Well, I think Bradley Martin is definitely on the gear.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Safari claims that she's natural, but I'm not sure. But
she might be.
I'm not too sure. He shouldn't be. You know how if you get out of jail, you're not supposed to be around other felons? When you test positive for PEDs, you should not be around other PED users. That's
question. So we're on this ridiculous topic. Do you put any weight in that Ryan Garcia passed a lie detector test saying he did not cheat?
No. Here's the thing. It's not a lie if you believe it. Everyone knows that.
But therein lies my point, right? What if I always said that I thought what this was? I thought this was either a contamination or he wasn't aware that he took this. I do truly believe, and I stand by this, that Ryan Garcia did not take this purposely.
Ezra, he cheated.
That's fine. I don't think he took it
oh
purposely.
My gosh. Of course he did.
All right. Lie detector says he didn't, but
Of course he did, man.
Do either of you have any final thoughts on Tank's situation?
No, listen, boxing is in a lack of stars. There's not a lot of potential stars in the sport. Stars could come out of nowhere, though. We really, you get a replacement. This guy sets a world on fire. People catch attention. Boxing will be as big as the stars that it has. That's just the way the business is based. It is big as the stars. You could try to do a league. You could try to do a certain promotion, whatever. It will only be as big as the stars that it has. And losing Tank as a star is a big blow to boxing. There's no doubt about that. As a whole, it's a big blow to boxing. Losing the potential fights he could have had with Tank was a big blow to boxing. Even losing Jake Paul and Tank was a blow to boxing. It's just the sad truth, but the truth of it. The sport is, in a shaky spot at best right now. Losing Tank is not a positive. So I know people, all these things we're going to say, and like I said, he's not a good person. I'm with you on that, on all these things. But just thinking of the boxing end of it, losing the star power of Tank in the sport is not a plus for boxing right now.
Yeah, it's obviously not. I know that most don't like Tank as a person, and rightfully so, because the things that he's been accused of and seen doing are things that are egregious and indefensible. So I understand that aspect. But like you said, losing his star power is a bad thing for the sport of boxing. But he put himself in a situation. He put boxing in a situation. If he don't care, why should anybody else care? With that being said, let's move on, Huey.
All right, on to the next. Keeping with the show title, we saw Vergil Ortiz suing Golden Boy to get out of his contract. Ezra, we were talking about this a bit pre-show. It seemed like you had some thoughts on it, so I want to go to you first.
I had like my brother call me and he was like, well, who's in the right here? Who's in the wrong here or whatever. And it would, like, I think when it comes to like business and stuff like this, there's two different point of views of it. I'm not sure every time there's someone right and wrong. It's just two different sides to see two different things. Right now, Golden Boy, no one has truly, no network or nothing has truly bought into Golden Boy. And it's kind of strange because they seem to have some of the bigger names in the sport. They seem to put on a lot of entertaining fights. If you watched the fight last night, which was the late replacement, it was a fun card. Like, it was an entertaining card. You rarely leave a Golden Boy card not being entertained. And you just feel like if they could get more eyeballs on it, they really have something here. They have the right combination. They understand really they understand like the Mexican demographic for building those fighters, building their names. They understand that. They understand box at the highest level because De La Hoya was at the highest level. He promoted fights at the highest level. They understand the whole business of it, but they don't really have a network. And right now, it appears that they are done with the zone and they're trying to find out another deal. While at the same time, trying to work out a deal with Vergil Ortiz to fight Boots. Now, Vergil, I think, has made it perfectly clear he wants to fight Boots. There's no one that I don't think could say, hey, this guy really doesn't want to fight Boots. No, I think he really does want to fight Boots. Now, on Vergil's side of the deal, he says, let's get this deal done. Now, he might think this fight is worth some amount of money that it might not be worth, right? And he feels like, hey, it's a tough challenge. Should be two big names fighting each other. Whether the public sees it that way, maybe that's the discussion to be had. But he sees it as like, hey, there's no reason this fight shouldn't get done. It seems like his manager is kind of working their way around Golden Boy to negotiate to get the terms that they want and or look at the deal, what they have, and say, hey, why can't we execute this? And he might be thinking that, hey, Golden Boy, who doesn't have a TV deal, is kind of holding me hostage by, not wanting to use one of their names so they could work out a deal somewhere else. They don't want to lose a name here, and they'll use that as a negotiation to go negotiate with somebody else. So he feels like, hey, maybe they're looking out for my best interest. Maybe they're looking out for Golden Boy's best interest. Problem is, though, you have a promotional deal, and that promotional deal says you fight the fights that they offer. They have to offer you a certain amount of fights for a certain minimum, depending on what the fight is and what the bout is, and if it's pay-per-view. So if they offer those, and they're capable of offering those, then that's the deal he signed. But if he says, well, they don't have a TV network, so they can't really offer me a fight. They're not offering me a fight right now. They don't have there's no way for them to do that. And I don't know, he claims this, I haven't seen, but he claims that there's a clause that they don't have a TV deal, they're down in the zone or whatever, that he could get out of his contract. It'd be null and void basically at that point. So it's just two different point of views. Golden Boy says, hey, I think we get you the best deal for this fight, but we also have other offers for you for other fights. And maybe they make you more money or make you as much money. And maybe they're less of a threat to you, right? Also, though, while Golden Boy, like I said, has that, they also have weighing over them that they need a network deal. And similar to, kind of similar, there may be some differences, but like the Canelo deal, right? Was Golden Boy looking out for Canelo when they made that deal, or were they looking out for Golden Boy? Was Golden, and the same thing with Ryan. Ryan wanted to fight Tank. Ryan felt that they were stopping him from fighting Tank because there wasn't 100% under Golden Boy or wasn't within the terms of that. Well, Ryan got his way. Golden Boy went with that way. Golden Boy did lose the Canelo situation to DAZN, where they lost the Canelo situation where he left, and then Canelo kind of signed a deal, Matchroom and DAZN. So we'll see how this one goes, but I don't really see like, oh, there's a good side or bad side to it. I just see two different point of views on, and two different things on like, is this best for me or is this best for the business? What do you think, Matt?
Well, what I really think is Oscar De La Hoya is being set up.
Okay.
That's what I really think. Because they mentioned the clause that, he needs to have the DAZN deal or it terminates the promoter rights, right?
Yes.
Well, who's controlling the money for this fight?
Yeah, DAZN. It's a bad situation to be in.
So basically, it seems like DAZN and the Ortizes and Rick Merrigan and Turkey Al-Sheikh, who has a piece of DAZN, they are conspiring to lift Vergil Ortiz from Golden Boy, basically.
Would this be the second time that's happened?
It is. They did this with Canelo, and now they're doing it with Vergil Ortiz.
No, but do we know for sure that term is on the contract?
Yeah, I'm reading the lawsuit right now.
Okay, so it says specifically that he has to have a deal with DAZN or just a network deal.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you specifically what it says. I wish you would have told me that you wanted to talk about that. Hold on.
Specifics.
Yeah. Hold on. I think it was on page. Not the PRA. Okay, here we go. All right.
Read along with Matt. This is great. I've seen that.
Right, here we go.
That looked like Luigi who grew a beard.
Yeah, I was saving until the end of the show, but if Matt, you have the contract ready?
Yeah, to protect. This is Section 3I in the contract. To protect Ortiz from Golden Boy Promotions losing its broadcast platform, which would limit Golden Boy Promotions' ability to show Ortiz's fights, the PRA contained the following provision in Section 10G. Related to the relationship between Golden Boy Promotions and its broadcaster DAZN. Promoters' distribution relationship with DAZN is a material incentive for Boxer, meaning Ortiz, to enter into this agreement. In the event that the promoter's distribution relationship with DAZN terminates for any reason, and promoter does not have an agreement in principle in place for an exclusive distribution relationship with an alternative broadcaster, then Boxer shall have the right to terminate this agreement. For avoidance of doubt, if promoter has agreed on all material terms with an alternative broadcaster, but is in the process of negotiating a long-form agreement with that broadcaster, Boxer shall not be entitled to terminate this agreement. Boxer's right to terminate.
Oh my God.
Boxer's right to terminate must be exercised by written notice within 30 days following Boxer obtaining knowledge of the triggering event, or it will be deemed waived.
Goodness gracious. And there's also a very key thing. And I remember that them kind of like them saying this specifically was, that the Ryan Garcia fight and Barrios is a ring event. And I guess the reason why I would maybe think that's important, and maybe this isn't whatever, but maybe technically Golden Boy could say like, well, we still have a deal. We still got a Ryan Garcia fight coming up that hasn't been, hasn't been executed yet. But nonetheless, that puts you at a negotiation like disadvantage, and what a deadline to be at, where DAZN knows that this is a part of your. If DAZN knows this is part of your deal, and they know that you have to get this locked in, or you're going to lose a fighter and lose a big fight. And there's not a lot, if we look at Top Rank, not a lot of networks calling to work out a deal with boxing right now. That's a bad spot to be in. That is a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Oscar De La Hoya and DAZN agreed to a deal in October. Okay? They agreed to a new deal. It's not written in ink, but it is an agreed upon deal. And this is where I believe Vergil Ortiz may run into trouble.
Okay.
Because Nevada law recognizes this type of deal as long as all the material things have been agreed upon. And it seems like that's been agreed upon with Golden Boy and DAZN. All they're doing is working out the final details, but all the important material stuff has been agreed to.
Okay, so what you're saying is that they do have a deal in place. They have an extension in place, whatever. It just hasn't been signed off on yet. But why then, if that is the case, right? Then why all these reports that their deal's done, this is expired, their last fight was last night? Why all that?
Well, because technically the contract is run out.
And
but like
what's
I
holding
said,
up them from getting over the line?
Listen, in Nevada, because this is a Nevada case, okay? All right?
Okay.
In Nevada, an agreement in principle indicates that the parties have reached consensus on major terms while intending to finalize details later. Okay? So
okay, I get that part, right? I get that part. And I get what you're saying is because this case, you're saying the Vergil Ortiz case will be handled in Nevada, correct?
correct.
Okay, now the one part that I would say though that kind of worries me a little bit is Nevada recognizes that as far as deals made in Nevada, but is the Golden Boy DAZN deal a deal made in Nevada?
I don't think that matters.
I think it does, because what you're saying is they recognize Nevada, the state, will recognize a deal.
Yeah,
as
they
long
gotta
as
look. They gotta look at the contract. It doesn't. You don't have to be doing. The zone doesn't do business in Nevada, but you have to look at the contract. So
Yeah, but I'm saying is that
as long as mutual assent exists, where there's a clear offer and acceptance, and the intent is bound to be evident, meaning that even if later a more formal document is contemplated, if the intent is there to do an extension, then that counts as legally binding.
yes, I get you in Nevada, in the state of Nevada. But
Yes,
the problem
which
is
is
like
where
if
they
I
would be
do,
trying this. So
yeah,
listen. Let me, because I feel like you're getting confused here. If me and you do a deal in New York, okay, and you sue me in Nevada,
well,
the
I could,
contract is the contract. They're
but
gonna interpret it
I couldn't
anyway.
sue you. I couldn't sue you in Nevada.
Well, if I think one of their residences is in Nevada, so they can.
Yeah, but that's the thing is right. Like per the contract, because like okay, let's say if I get a contract, right? Let's say someone sends me a contract for one of the jobs we do, right? I will put in there if we have to go to court, we will go to court in California. Even if you're suing, say doing business in Chicago, you're doing business
Yeah,
in New
but
York.
that wasn't in the contract.
No, I know that. Well, I don't know what's in the contract. I don't know what's in the contract.
No, I'm telling you, I looked over the contract. It wasn't in the contract.
Okay, well, I'm saying I don't know that what you're saying
You don't know
isn't.
what's in the contract. I'm
No,
telling you,
no.
it
What I'm
wasn't in
saying
the
is
contract.
I don't know what you're saying is would be recognized in Nevada. That's what I'm saying. I think if a business
It
deal
will
happens in
be.
Nevada,
It will
they'll
be.
say, hey, you guys agreed on everything. We have some form of an agreement. We have some backing up that says it's a form of agreement. Maybe not signed, but that we'll acknowledge that. But if you do it in, let's say, New York or do something like that, that would be under their laws and terms, right? So I get how that would work in the Las Vegas, but Vergil isn't suing, and we don't know where the deal is taking place, but we're not necessarily suing a business deal that happened in Nevada. We're suing a business deal that who knows where it happened, right? Who knows what
Listen,
the
Vergil
agreeing
Ortiz.
party.
Hold on. Vergil Ortiz is a citizen of the state of Texas.
I get
Golden
you.
Boy Promotions is a limited liability company in Delaware.
Okay, so not
Okay.
they're not Vegas either.
But their members are citizens of the state of Nevada. That's what I'm trying to
That
tell
doesn't work
you.
that way. That doesn't work that way.
Well, then you need to tell Vergil Ortiz that.
Yeah, I think they're wrong on this. If that's what they're banking on. Well, no. Well, no. That's where Vergil Ortiz would be right then, because you're saying, well, they do have a deal in place, right? But Vergil Ortiz is saying, well, there's no contract signed. There is no deal.
It doesn't matter. You're suing in Nevada. Nevada laws applies. The court has personal jurisdiction over the defendant and venue is proper in the District of Nevada because Golden Boy Promotions is a citizen of Nevada and because Golden Boy Promotions
We're
has
gonna.
substantial contacts with Nevada, including regularly promoting boxing
Yeah,
events in Las Vegas and holding a promoter's license issued by the Nevada State Athletic
I
Commission.
get you.
So everything related to this case, including the contract, is going to be applied with Nevada law. Do you understand that?
No, that's not the way that works. I don't believe. But whatever. We're going back and forth to something. I think it's very important. Where do the jurisdictions of their contract, as far as the negotiations from the business point, from Golden Boy to DAZN, where that is considered? What law does that fall under? What jurisdiction does that fall under? Because, like I said, if I do a contract, if I live in California, but I'm doing a job in Texas, right? And the contract is written up in Texas for a business in Texas, I have to follow the laws of that where that is written, where that contract is. That's the business where I'm doing there. Now, maybe I
Yes.
could add
And
in
this was Nevada.
amendments that say, hey, I want recognized things from where I'm from. Or if I go to court, it has to go under this court.
Yes,
Under
and
this
this was
jurisdiction.
Nevada, Ezra. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, but that's for the
Like, you're making
Vergil.
my head hurt.
No, because that's for the Vergil thing. But that's not necessarily for DAZN Golden Boy. That's the issue there. But like I said, we're going back and forth. We'll see how that plays out. That's interesting, though. We'll see that. But right now, officially, no ink signed. Golden Boy doesn't have a deal with DAZN. Officially, no ink signed on a contract. They have no deal with DAZN.
What they have is an agreement in principle,
Okay.
which Nevada recognizes.
Well, you know what? Let's not have the court case here. It's going to play out on court, so we don't have to have it here. But I do think it's a very interesting spot, and it's a really interesting spot to put in. Interesting spot that they're put in with not having that really with the wet ink signature.
Now, let me ask you the important question. When do we see Vergil Ortiz back in the ring?
I think it's going to be a while. I think this is going to have to play out. Now, maybe this doesn't go all the way to court. Maybe this doesn't go there.
Oh, it is. Oh,
okay, but maybe there's a chance it doesn't, right? Maybe the chance that they say, hey, you know what, we want this deal. This is what they're offering. We're taking. And Golden Boy says, all right, we'll make the fight. And the fight's made. Maybe we get there, right? Because I don't think that it benefits anyone to not. I think DAZN really wants this fight. I think Boots really wants this fight. I think Vergil really wants this fight. And Golden Boy, they want this under the right terms. Maybe they could get that worked out. But if this goes to court, then we're going to be out without Vergil for a while. So we got two names in boxing that are out of to start the year, and you got a fight that people are really excited about that looks like it's getting further and further away.
Yeah. Ultimately, do you think we get Boots versus Vergil next?
No.
Do we get Boots versus Vergil at all?
We could get it this year, depending on that court case plays out. Because I truly believe Vergil wants that fight. I truly believe everybody wants that fight. I think that if Vergil were to, however long this court case takes, whatever, at the end of it, I think that if he gets free from his contract, I think he goes straight to a Boots fight.
Okay. I don't think so, but okay.
You think even if he gets free from his contract, he wouldn't go to a Boots fight?
What if it's over a year from now? You think he's going to go straight to a Boots fight cold? Fuck no.
Fair.
Yeah, that would be stupid. And yeah, oh man, some interesting things in this lawsuit.
Question.
Things in this lawsuit.
Oh, I want you to get to that, but here's a real quick question: how should this have played out to avoid this lawsuit, in your opinion? Who's kind of in the wrong here? Who's in the right here?
In my opinion, Vergil Ortiz should have let Oscar and Golden Boy fight for him and do what they do. Okay. Because here's the thing. In July 2024, which is just a little bit over a year ago, Vergil Ortiz signed an extension with Golden Boy. So clearly he was happy enough to sign an extension, a 3-year extension with them. And everybody was happy. Everything was hunky-dory. You know, Golden Boy got him these big fights, these big events. And he got paid handsomely for them. And it's not Golden Boy's fault that the original deal was turned down by Boots. That's not his fault. So if that money is not there again, that's not Golden Boy's fault. So what Oscar's trying to do is fight tooth and nail to either get that original money or get something really, really close to it, or they're threatening alternative fights where they can make that money. I think Oscar's doing smart business. Eric Gomez is doing smart business. And I think, honestly, I don't know Vergil. I don't know Rick. But I think that they're fucking up here. I really do.
I think you might be right.
And,
And you said
and,
there's some
and let's be honest, they're kind of snaking De La Hoya.
yeah, I mean
They
definitely.
really are. They're snaking.
Definitely. It definitely feels like Rick is trying to work his way around Golden Boy and get you know, maybe get Vergil out of the contract and get him to somewhere else. But it definitely seems like that. It wouldn't be, like I said, it wouldn't be the first attempt this has happened to Golden Boy. You said there were some interesting things in the contract. What do you mean by that?
Oh, apparently there was a deal on the table for Ortiz in December that Ortiz turned down. They didn't specify what the deal was, but you would have to assume it's one of those deals that we were talking about, maybe a PBC deal. And Ortiz is claiming that Golden Boy threatened them after and tried to vilify them.
Okay.
Which is very, very interested. Very, very interested. Now, one thing that in this contract that I think is stupid is they was not in the contract, but in the lawsuit, they were saying that Golden Boy agrees to basically work in good faith with other promoters to maximize Vergil Ortiz's exposure and revenue opportunities, and the promoter agrees to try to work in good faith with the representatives to negotiate for any and all opponents. Boxing wants to fight during the term, and the boxer and his representatives expressly agree to direct any and all inquiries they may receive from potential opponents to the promoter for purposes of negotiating the terms of potential bout. In the event the promoter receives an offer to provide the boxer a fight from another promoter or a broadcast platform under provision of services or similar agreement, promoter must disclose to the boxer the full value of all compensation and stuff. So here's the thing, right? In a Vergil versus Boots fight, Golden Boy's gonna be doing that event. So that's not a third party provision of services
No.
kind of thing. That's a Golden Boy event. So it kind of seems like Ortiz's side is like trying to like mash together all these bits and pieces of a contract into a different clause, as if it's his own separate clause. Because they're trying to argue that being that it's a fight against Ennis, this is coming from a third party, so it's their Golden Boy is basically lending out Vergil. Oscar's not lending out Vergil.
Yeah.
Oscar's doing this fight. And they say that Oscar's not playing nice because he disparaged Dana White at Turkey Al Sheikh's venture, and that Turkey doesn't want to work with Oscar anymore. But then Oscar De La Hoya is doing the ring event.
Yeah.
So you kind of fucked up there.
Yeah.
If you think that that Turkey doesn't want to work with Oscar no more, because Oscar is doing the ring event. He's doing the ring event. So now you can't say that Turkey doesn't want to do business with him, because Turkey is clearly doing business with him. So they kind of screwed up there.
Yeah. I agree with that. 100%.
But you know what? It's a shame. It really is a shame, because Oscar's getting screwed here. I know you're not an Oscar guy. I know you hate De La Hoya for some strange reason, but he's really getting screwed here, man. And I know people are just waiting and dying to get their hands on Vergil Ortiz.
Hey, Matt, it's not that strange of a reason. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
That strange of a reason. I will say this. Yeah, like I think that the Vergil and them should have kind of trusted Golden Boy to make the right decision here. I think that, like I said, they used the fact that they didn't have a deal to get into Vergil's head, Vergil's dad's head. That hey, they ain't looking out for you; they're looking out for them. We could get this deal done. I think they were talking to the other side, and I don't think that's ever really a good idea. You hire these people because you trust them to work out a good deal for you. If you start talking to the other side, they're going to start telling you that these people are not working in good faith. They're not. This deal should have been done by now, and all these things. And you've got to trust who you signed with. Like you said, Matt, they just signed with them. They trust them at that point. Then you got to trust them all the way through. Rick has a certain job to do for you, but I think that what they allowed is to get in between all these other things, and I think that that's going to get in the way of this fight.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't think there's any chance that you think this is going to court for sure?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to settle.
Okay.
Why would Golden Boy settle?
Well, I mean,
if Golden Boy settles, they lose their fighter. Why would Golden Boy settle?
Well, I guess, is there a chance that they could just say, okay, we'll get the fight made. We'll get the terms, whatever terms we get with, we get the fight made. We keep our contract. We just keep going from there. Is there?
We're past that point. We're past that point because, like I said, I think Oscar's being set up, and Oscar knows he's being set up.
Yeah.
So they're gonna claim, oh well, we can offer more money for this. Just get rid of Oscar. We'll give you more money.
Okay, but can we say this then? Okay, if Oscar's being set up, right, and we've seen this happen before, but isn't Golden Boy in like the absolute worst position then? I mean, if they are setting them up, and and let's say that Ryan really is a free agent after the next fight, and let's say that Vergil somehow gets out of this deal, right? And let's just say DAZN says we don't want to deal with you, we don't have a contract with you. Is Golden Boy like in the absolute worst position then?
No, because here's the thing: in order for DAZN to back out of the contract, they would have to basically admit that they were acting in bad faith, which would then put them liable for this Ortiz situation.
But here's the thing,
because Golden Boy would have been looking for alternative broadcasters in the meantime.
Well, I mean, if he got it,
bro, they would have been looking for. They thought they had a deal in October.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
No. Listen, what I'm saying. They thought Golden Boy thought they had a deal with DAZN in October. If they find out that DAZN was acting in bad faith, they would sue the fuck out of DAZN.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though. It's really hard to prove bad faith.
It's not hard to prove.
No. Because
if DAZN runs interference and then all of a sudden pulls their offer and they lose Ortiz because of it, that it's obvious that they were acting in bad faith.
No, but it's not necessarily, because so you have a deal in place. We have a deal in principle. What you're saying they have, right? I'm not sure. You're saying
yes, they have an agreement in principle.
Okay, that agreement in principle, right? But DAZN could say, something in the market changed, or DAZN could say, okay, we had this, but they can add one thing to say like, if something changed within the business model, and this is actually a key factor that we needed to get agreement on. Now, we never had a contract signed, never that. So we had all these things in place, but let me add we're going to add one more thing that's a factor to the business that we don't have an agreement on. So that creates a thing that says, this still needs to be negotiated. Which still creates then, we don't then necessarily have a deal in place.
No. Because you're missing the intent part. The intent is to get the deal done. So that counts according to Nevada.
I get that. I know you keep saying the Nevada thing, but we have to see where that.
No, because you're confused about it. I'm telling you, the case is being fought in Nevada. Nevada, listen. Nevada is going to interpret it under their terms. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What you're not getting, and we keep getting bogged down on this.
They will not do that. Okay, but all right.
Do you want to be as wrong again? Because
it's not as wrong. So here's the thing, right?
I'm trying to tell you what it is.
So here's where you're okay. This is where you'll be right? And I'm not that I'm wrong, because I don't have the information in front of me. What I'm saying is that you keep going off the Vergil Ortiz lawsuit, and you keep saying that everything else that they worked out will be within Nevada's jurisdiction because the Vergil Ortiz lawsuit is in Nevada. But that's not the way that works. When you sign things, they are under the jurisdiction where you sign them. Let me just tell you. Okay. When I do construction, I have a construction company. When I do work, it's under California law. Okay, that's under California law. Okay,
correct.
But that doesn't mean if I sign a contract in Texas and then the contract's in Texas under their jurisdiction, and I do a lawsuit, but it's I'm filing in California, that California is going to make that contract now fall under California law. You can't do that.
Ezra, here's the point that you're missing. The contract being done under Nevada law favors Golden Boy. So why the fuck would Golden Boy challenge the jurisdiction and the
Because they're
authority
not
of
going to challenge the
Nevada?
jurisdiction. What I'm telling you is don't challenge the jurisdiction. What they're saying, you're saying that because Nevada is
Ortiz,
handling the case, everything outside
listen.
Nevada will
The
still be handled
venue,
under Nevada's jurisdiction. That's
listen,
not the way that works, Matt.
the venue that Ortiz's team wants is Nevada.
Matt, that's for that lawsuit, Matt. You're
Yes,
talking about a contract that
listen,
wasn't necessarily
part
done in
of the
Nevada.
lawsuit is the interpretation of the DAZN contract.
Oh, God, this is literally maddening. But all right, let's just look at. There's going to have a lawsuit. We're trying to have the lawsuit here today, apparently.
No,
but let's just move the thing, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think you guys are having two different conversations.
Hey,
but
add this to the spreadsheet, Huey. Add this to the spreadsheet.
Vergil Ortiz versus Golden Boy.
Yes. Who are you favoring in this one, Ezra?
I'm not favoring anyone. I don't have none of the contract in front of me, Matt. This is what we do. We get me to argue something, right, that I don't have in front of me. I'm just telling you.
Because here's the thing. I'm looking at it and I'm telling you what it is.
Yeah, you're looking at the
you're
law.
arguing against me.
You're looking at the lawsuit from Vergil Ortiz.
The lawsuit has the
Boy.
contract attached.
Oh
Jesus.
Matt, the contract might be from somewhere else. I don't get that. Doesn't make
they
sense.
Have it attached.
No, but what I think, so here, can I tell you what I think is happening in this conversation? I think Ezra is arguing the enforcement of the actual DAZN contract with Golden Boy happening, and Matt's talking about how that in contract is going to be interpreted within the Vergil versus Golden Boy lawsuit.
Yes, I get you, but you can't interpret it because we're Vegas. We do business like this here. That doesn't matter what the hell they do.
Ezra,
the law and the contract is signed somewhere else under that jurisdiction. That doesn't mean anything. What you're talking about is if a contract was signed in Nevada and they say, "Hey, we worked out the principal terms under the Las Vegas, Nevada jurisdiction." So under Nevada jurisdiction, you guys will honor the contract because we have all the principles in place, pretty much, right? But you're talking about a contract that may possibly be signed somewhere else. I don't know where the hell DAZN.
It doesn't matter if they signed it in Timbuktu.
Okay.
Golden Boy Promotions is a resident of Nevada.
Well, Golden Boy Productions, what you just said, was located in Delaware.
The LLC is located
La Jolla
in Delaware.
lives in Nevada, but this is a corporation.
No.
This isn't a sole proprietor.
Right, you're getting frenetic because you're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, it's just
you're not understanding. Hold on, relax.
It doesn't make any sense.
Relax.
Let the lawyers handle this. I know we want to have the court case here today.
Relax.
Let's let the lawyers handle this and the judge.
Relax, Ezra. Relax. The LLC is in Delaware, but Golden Boy is based in Nevada, and they do business frequently in Nevada.
They do business frequently everywhere.
So
I mean, how they were in Palm Springs the other day.
Ezra, so here's I think where the disconnect is happening, because I get what you're saying. Like, the fact that they don't have an actual contract signed means Golden Boy doesn't have a TV deal in place. But the language in Vergil Ortiz contract, which they're suing in Nevada, says if they have a deal in principle. And Matt's arguing that because they had the deal in principle in October, that when it's seen in the Vergil Ortiz versus Golden Boy lawsuit, Nevada is going to interpret that as adhering to the contract.
Which is,
do you get that, Ezra? Do you get
that point? I get that point.
But 100%. Here comes the butt. Here comes the big butt.
But here's the thing.
Here comes a Megan Thee Stallion-sized butt.
Hold on.
Here comes the Megan Thee Stallion-sized butt.
You're telling me, you're saying, they had a deal in principle. Now, from whose point of view did they have a deal in principle? I'm just curious.
Golden Boy.
Okay, so Golden Boy, right, which would benefit them to have a deal in principle, right, says we had a deal in principle. Now, DAZN, very easily, because this is why when you need signed contracts, this is why it's very important to have a signed contract, can easily say, we don't agree we had a deal in principle. What says we had a deal in principle? What states
the material terms being agreed to?
But that's the thing, though, right? So you're saying, are you talking about a signed deal? No, hold on. Are you talking about a signed deal
to execute
the
contract?
Terms? Are you talking about a signed deal for the terms? You're saying that the terms were listed and
no. That's what I'm saying.
That's
an agreement to all the material terms with the intent to sign a contract.
That's what I'm saying. That's a point of view. That is Golden Boy's point of view, that we had everything in terms. DAZN could come and say, well, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. And this is why we're stating that. Because there was no contract signed. So you're telling me that De La Hoya in October had something did and never got anything over the line to this point, and he feels good with that? No, he don't feel good with that. Of course not. You don't feel good with that. They had a thing that they talked about in that, but that right there, it's very hard to hold up in court without a signed contract. I'm sorry.
Vergil Ortiz's side stipulates that there was an agreement in principle that extended Golden Boy into 2027.
That is very, very, very on the opinion of who agrees that they had a deal in
Bro,
principle.
but if the people who are suing you says that,
Yeah, but how does Golden Boy prove that they had a deal in principle? That's what I'm asking you. How does Golden Boy prove they have a deal in principle?
I'm pretty sure they have
email
communications,
correspondence,
Ezra.
different
Well,
things.
so that's exactly what you're gonna say, right?
Jesus Christ,
No,
Ezra.
but this is what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure
do you
that's
think
the
that they were
problem. This is
communicating
what
and
problem. If
corresponding?
you're gonna go to court and you're gonna argue something, you better not say, "I'm pretty sure I have this," right? If you have an email and the guy says, "Hey, how about this term? This is what we did," and then the zone says, "That don't sound too bad. Let me think about it." You do not have a deal in place. This is what I'm talking about. Well, this is why contracts exist, to lock in the terms of the thing.
Yes.
You could very easily, the reason why people handshake deals don't work no more, rather than all that, is because you could very easily say, I considered it, but business changed from October to February. The model changed. Something the cost changed in this, and now we had to reconsider it. That's why you have to lock in that deal then.
So
a deal in principle in
Ezra,
October is a deal in principle in October.
let's
But you can
put
say,
this
hey,
on a
the business changed,
spreadsheet.
and we never got in front of each other to sign a contract.
Let's
This
put
is
this
not
on a
as easy as
spreadsheet.
cut and dry as they try to make it, because that's not
So
the way
let's
you
put this on a spreadsheet, Ezra.
No, stop it. Stop it. I'm just telling you. It's nonsense.
You're
I'm telling
pissing me
you.
off.
First of all, I argue stuff like this a lot of the time. So this is it. I know that all this stuff like this, unless you got wet ink, it's very easy to get away the other way from it.
Should we go on to the next topic here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt, you have any last words?
Yeah. Ezra. Fuck you.
I gotta get that on the soundboard. I really do. All right. So next up, we see Canelo Alvarez news returning Mexican Independence Day weekend in September in Saudi Arabia. Matt, why the location?
Because they're stupid. They're stupid people. Stupid people doing stupid things, stupid business. Did we not learn from the massacre that was Cinco de Mayo weekend in Saudi Arabia? Did we not learn from that crap? Okay? Mexico is not traveling to Saudi Arabia to see Canelo. I'm sorry, and they shouldn't have to. Canelo needs to do the Mexican holiday in Las Vegas or California or New York or Mexico itself. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And you know what really ticks me off? I know that they're probably going to do this at like 6 a.m. in Saudi so that they can interfere with prime time, pay-per-view wise in the United States. It's just so stupid, man. It's so stupid. He should not be fighting in Saudi. His fans should have a chance to come see him. And they do not really have a chance to come see him in Saudi Arabia, man. And he said he wasn't coming back. Now all of a sudden he's coming back. I guess, Canelo, because he lost to Crawford in the worst loss in the history of boxing, he does not have any type of leverage. And now he's being basically he's the like the circus bear. They just wheeling him out. Here, get on this fucking tricycle, circus bear, and roll around with that stupid little hat on. That's Canelo right now. He's the circus bear on the tricycle with the stupid little hat, entertaining people.
I think this is Canelo's. This is Elvis' residency at Las Vegas. This is what happens when musicians don't really have anything much more to offer besides their past resume. They do a residency in Las Vegas. His residency is in Saudi Arabia. He will be fighting there. They will, like you said, Matt, they will wheel him out, the bear, and he will do his little tricks. People will go, ooh and ah, are we going to go see Canelo this weekend? That's what we're going to do. And I think that will he face one of these legit opponents at 168? I don't expect an Mbili, right? I don't expect that. Maybe I'm a fan of Shiraz. I think that maybe they see something in Shiraz that they say, hey, maybe we can take advantage of that. So I wouldn't be surprised with the Shiraz. I think that might not go the way you think it's going to go, because I think Shiraz is actually pretty tough at 168. Might be Chris Eubank, right? Junior. I can see that. I can see that. That seems like a fight that the Turkey would love, because the one thing you have to realize is that Turkey makes fights that he likes or that he thinks might be interesting. Turkey doesn't usually try to make fights that doesn't necessarily make fights that like fans are calling for. He makes fights that he finds interesting or that he thinks will grab attention, and it's going off of his taste. Canelo is completely lost all leverage. When he signed that deal, and he took the fight and everything like that, he had the big fight with Crawford. I said that would be his last big fight. That was his last big event. That is what it is now. And I think you're going to see Canelo fight in Saudi, because I'm not sure what way he goes at 168, where it would be, financially worth it for him to kind of come to the States and fight. And
Now,
people
let me ask you a
love that
question.
opponent.
You compared Canelo to Elvis Presley. He's doing his residency part.
Yes.
What would have to happen to be the equivalent with Canelo of Elvis being found dead on his toilet?
I think it would be Eubank beating him. I think that would be it. I gotta be honest. I think that's a wrap right there if that happens. It's yeah, man. Look at this is the one thing we always said about Canelo. Me and you both said this. If we didn't fight Benavidez, it wouldn't age well. He would kind of go out on a not a good feeling.
I think he's gonna forever ruin his legacy. To be honest,
I agree with you. There's also the thing where you're going to go out when we look at the past and say that, and you're going to say, man, he went out, one of the biggest stars of boxing. He was number 2 on the earners list that came out this past week for last year. And he was just doing fights in Saudi. One of the guys that would call his own shots, he was a guy that really didn't need to be told by anyone anything, is now putting on a smile and doing what he's told. That's the honest truth of what's happening here. And it's a strange shift of power, but that's because when you're just in it for the money, and at some point you're just looking for your payday and all that. This is you lose a negotiation, because there's always going to come in someone that says, "Oh, I'm willing to pay this," and you're willing to go that direction. He had the power. Canelo gave up the power. He gave up his leverage. He gave up his control of the sport, because that's what you have when you're the face of boxing. And he gave all that up. And now it feels like he's no different than any one of these guys that has to go fight in Saudi. And that's a really strange shift for the face of boxing. Look at Floyd does what he does now. But when he boxed, he never gave up the power. He never did. He didn't have to, right? I even feel the same way for the most part for like Manny Pacquiao, right? Like, he was the star. He never really gave it the power. Canelo gave up the power. It's a strange shift, very strange shift.
Yeah. I think him going to Saudi is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no interest in Canelo's next fight.
If it's maybe that's just because I'm a fan of him. If it's Shiraz, of course I'm gonna.
I have no interest.
I'm gonna be locked in.
Hey, listen. Shiraz got Diego Pacheco problems to worry about.
He does, and that's a fantastic fight. He does. That's a fantastic fight. But I think that what people are going to start realizing, and it's kind of like, it's funny. He's a UK fighter. He got a draw with the Damas that people feel like he should have lost. Not me. I thought the draw was fair. But a lot of times, like, people just allow that to like lock in their opinion on him. I mean, people thought that Berlanga was going to be problems for him. It's like some people thought Berlanga was going to be problems for him, and he showed like he was levels above Berlanga. I'm just telling you that this guy is a lot better than what people want to give him credit for, and I think that it's going to be a slow realization for that. But I think the Pacheco fight might be like the eye-opening part of that. I think Pacheco's a damn good fighter, but I think that I'm really favoring Shiraz in that fight. Not just because I'm a fan of him, we all know that, but I really am favoring him in that fight.
Yeah. I don't care. Let's move on.
All right. So Keyshawn Davis opened up about his alcohol abuse and some mental health issues this week. What are your thoughts on that? Matt, we'll start with you.
Very interested. He also detailed his breakup with Bomac. He wants to start his own thing out in Virginia with his people. Okay, it's fine. The alcohol abuse going into the fight sounds very Ryan Garcia-like. Going into the Devin Haney fight where, it was reported by Brunch Boxing that Ryan Garcia didn't look like he was going to make weight because he was abusing alcohol. We reported that, and it was true, and Ryan Garcia admitted as such. I heard that he was drinking and showing up drunk to training camp, where they would just send the sparring partners home because he was in no condition to work. I'm not sure if that's how bad it got with Keyshawn. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about it. I would love to speak with him about it. You know, as someone who has faced similar tribulations, I would love to speak to him about it. But I just think the fact that he publicly recognized the problem and spoke about it tells me that he is on the mend, or at least seeking help, or has gotten help and is working on it. And I think that can only be a positive. Now, how will it affect him in the boxing ring? We'll see. Because this guy, he went from being dependent on marijuana, which is what he got popped for early in his career in Texas against Nahir Albright. He went from being dependent on marijuana to being dependent on alcohol. Now, is this guy just someone with an addictive personality that's going to look for the next vice to be dependent upon? Or is he truly going to be able to break this cycle of chemical dependency and get his career to where it should be because he has prodigious talents? I think I have to take a wait-and-see approach, but I'm happy that Keyshawn is getting the help that he needs, and I hope that everything works out for him, not just on a boxing level, but on a personal level.
Like we said with Tink, at the highest level, you got to have it figured out on both sides in some way or another. There's no way to. No one's perfect at picking stars, or no one is perfect at saying this is a for sure thing, or no one is perfect at saying that this is the guy that can handle it. But there are warning signs. It looks like Keyshawn, they're giving you some warning signs there that this might be too much for him. And like, listen, mental health and all that is important, and it is something that we should be respectful of, and all those things. But hey, all that being considered, it takes a mental strength and stability to be on top like this. Okay, it does do that. So I understand that he's dealing with that, and that's too bad. But that doesn't. I can't look over that he is dealing with that. And at the highest level, with the pressures that come with boxing and the ups and downs of it, and the upside downs you have to deal with the outside life with that, kind of give you a warning sign that this could be trouble for him. You need to be locked in. You need to be in the gym. You need to be consistent. That's what it takes to be one of the best fighters in the world at the highest level. That you know that you can shut everything down and go through it. Unless you're someone amazing talent that could work your way through that. But even that always kind of ends in a quick and abrupt way for how long you can ride that out. So I'm just saying, I think Keyshawn, I think he's a really, really talented fighter. I think that he could be competitive with anyone in the ring right now. But those are warning signs to say that this might not hold up as we go further along in his career.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Going into this Ortiz fight, do you have any thoughts, any changes to your opinion about this bout because of this revelation?
No, I mean, like I said, he might be locked in right now because he made all these changes to his camp. It's like almost like a placebo effect, where it's like right now, because he did all these things, he's getting back in and all that. It might be focused right now. To me, it would affect it a few fights down the line. Things are going good, little success, and then you allow it to get a little shaky, right? Because you already had success, so then you allow it to be like, oh, right, well, I did good. I could stir away from this a little bit. I could go this way a little bit, and then I would think that might add up. He's not the main event here. He's the co-main. He's in a fight where I think he's more talented than the guy. He has more ability than the guy. It doesn't shake me on what this fight's going to look like, but I think going forward, it's something to watch out for.
What else we got, Huey?
I was just wanting to see, do you want to make a comment on, do you want to have anything to say on Sibby's comment? So he says the drinking was at a time he dealt with the loss of a close friend. At that time, I don't think it was an abuse. I think it was a grievance issue. So if that was the case, then maybe it's not something that we really need to be.
No. Sibby, first of all, Sibby does not smoke or drink. He wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
You gotta deal with
literally, that's literally an abuse thing. Like,
you gotta deal with those demons and know those demons, man.
Yeah, Sibby wouldn't understand. So, salute to Sibby, great guy, but he's out of his depth on this one.
Matt,
no need to argue. Sibby just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Matt, do you mind if I reorder some of these to move them to quick hits?
Oh, we're done? I don't
No,
care.
we can do. I think I don't know that we need to spend. All right, you know what? Brian Norman fired his father as his trainer. What are your thoughts on this, and who do you think is next?
I don't know why that's a funny headline. What do you think?
Wait, why are you laughing at somebody?
Because it's just funny. It's
father?
really aggressive. You know what I mean? Because like you could just say like the degree departed separate ways, the degree to
No. I
But
gotta
it's
tell the
just
truth.
like he canned
Fired him. He said, hey, Dad, step to my office. Hey, what's up, son? How's the kids? Everybody's good? Hey, Dad, you're fucking fired. You're fucking fired. But why are you laughing? What is wrong with you?
I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at
laughing at the delivery of
the
delivery
of it. Yeah, it's the delivery.
Yeah, no, I get it. So we do have Brian Norman moving on to a new trainer here. J.R. Bell, friend of the show from the Boxing Source, in the comments is saying Derek James as a potential new Matt. Is that did he announce that?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that then. So what do you think about him pairing with Derek James and how that's going to be moving forward?
Well, first of all, I didn't see no announcement. You saw an announcement, EzRaw?
Yeah, I saw a video.
You saw a video
of them training together.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that he's going to be his. All right.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Just so we're clear, there's been no announcement, but we did see a video of them training together. Now, would he be a great potential trainer? I don't think so. I would rather see him with somebody like Bobak.
Question is, I feel like people are really down on Derek James, and I get that Earl Spence got destroyed by Terrence Crawford. Does that eliminate everything he's done positive?
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time Alicia Bumgarner looked impressive?
Well, I mean, wait. First of all, Alicia Bumgarner didn't look bad her last fight, and that was the first fight with Derek James.
No, it was the second fight with Derek James.
Oh, okay. Well, she didn't look bad in that fight. So I don't know what that means. I'm just saying, I think that we get in a thing where, because he came up short in this big fight, now Derek James has limitations. Because Charlo got lost to Canelo in a fight that, he was moving up in weight and all these things. Oh, now Derek James don't know what he's doing. I'm not sure that's the case. Now, when I think of the style, I think we think that Derek James only trains one style. I thought Ryan versus Rolly, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. But Ryan looked great against Haney, right? Ryan looked bad, not great, but he didn't look bad against Haney, right? Like, here's the thing. I think that we get trapped in, this came up short, so he must not be a good trainer. This is the same thing with football, right? Like a football team loses, we got to replace the coach. Like, it's just that's it. The coach must not be any good, and I think it's situational. I'm not sure Derek James can adjust to Brian Norman's style. I'm not sure that. I can't say that. So I'm not sure he's an experienced trainer at the highest level. He's had world champions. He's had pound for pound guys, and right now he's a little bit coming up short. And I think right now we want to judge him negatively, the saying that he's apparently not a good enough trainer for Brian Norman. I don't think that's the case. So I'm interested to see. Like, I think Norman's going with someone that he feels like has more experience or maybe can bring out of his game. Here's the one thing I warn Brian Norman. Just because you came up short don't mean it was your dad's fault. And just because you switch trainers don't mean you're going to improve 100 times as a fighter. Okay? So sometimes that's a placebo effect too. But if he feels like he needs that mentally and he feels like that there's some things that are lacking in his training that Derek James maybe could bring out or another trainer could possibly bring out, then that's fine too. Look, you got a real short career. You have a real short window to figure out who you really are in this sport. But I just think that we get a little negative on trainers because they're having to run into a little negative spot in their career.
Yeah, I have nothing more on this. I just think I hope they can mend the relationship. I hope everything is good with them. I hope, the personal father-son relationship is not affected by this business move. If Brian feels like he needs to be his own man and get away from his dad and maybe learn something new, you know what? His father should be supportive, and I'm sure his father is supportive because that's a very close family.
The one thing I will say, and I stated this when it happened, so it's not like me doing a hindsight 2020. I didn't like the Brian Norman Sr. Like, I have my own fight. I don't like that he's going out and doing every interview. It's something about that kind of like, to me, it's a distraction. And to me, it's like, well, who's the guy we're putting the time into? who's the guy that's going to be the star here? It should be the son who's fighting, right? Who's a current fighter. I think that all those things like that are distractions. I think all those things like that are not necessarily good. I don't necessarily like trainers talking for fighters. I think that the fighters should do their talking, or they should get a guy that does their talking, like a wrestling manager or something. But I don't think the trainer should do it. I think the trainer should be focused. I think the trainer should be just there to make sure that this fighter is performing at the highest level in an elite.
Yeah, but
level.
you don't say that about Bomac.
Well, first of all, Bomac has success, but here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Does Bomac, is he on these spaces over here talking trash to these guys and doing this and this? Not really. Now, Bomac could do an interview, and will he have an opinion saying my guy's better than that guy? Fine, but I don't really see Bomac as a mouthpiece. I don't see that at all. Bomac is a guy that, to me, has been pretty. Look at Bomac came on here and said, "Hey, I like to train Earl Spence." Right? He says, "I see good things for him." So he's not over here talking trash about fighters and all these things like that. I think that Bomac will do an interview, and I think he's a good interview. But I don't see him as a mouthpiece. I don't see him on these spaces yelling and fighting all these guys. I don't see that. I don't see that the case at all. Bomac's a hell of a trainer, and I think he's been consistently about getting his fighters better. I think that's what he's consistently been about. The one thing, what did Brian Norman Sr. do? As soon as this news happened, he got an interview. And he talked about him, and he talked about how he's not going to go be an assistant for somebody, and they're doing their thing. I mean, that's to me an issue. I don't like it.
I guess it's something that we should monitor going forward.
All right. Any other final thoughts on Brian Norman and what you want to see for him next? Not necessarily the trainer, but what you want to see out of him.
I just want to see him busy, man. I look at people believe in Brian Norman. I think they think that the Haney fight was maybe just a little bit too much, too soon, or but he could get better. I think people think that. Like I said, I have my questions on how good. I think people were. I think people were maybe a little too high on Norman. I don't. I think the Haney fight kind of show what level he's at. But let's see him get back in there. There's it's not the most deepest division, but there's some names in there that he can get in there with. I think pretty interesting.
All right. Now, tell me how much time you guys want to spend on this. Jai Opetaia signs with Zuffa Boxing. EzRaw, I want to start with you.
It's pretty stunning. I gotta be honest with you. Now, I don't know what Jai Opetaia was making for his fights or anything like that, because I would imagine that Zuffa is not going to be the highest paying promotion, but maybe he wasn't making as much as what I thought he possibly making, and maybe if he has 3 fights a year, it turns out pretty nice for him. And the competition there isn't great with Zuffa, so he could be the big fish in a small pond situation. I think it's ridiculous that in the first video that they have their own belt they're walking in the ring with, which is really like letting you know what they think of boxing and the people that run it, and the laws enforced here. But it's hilarious that he signs and says, "Yep, and I'm here to unify." And it's like, unify what? What are you here to unify? The Zuffa belt with the WBC? Is that unification going to happen? Or what are you here to unify? So it's either, to me, boxers have no idea about the absolute business of it, and they have no idea, and they just sign contracts and they say, "This sounds fun. This is a big name, and this should be good," without knowing, really looking into and doing the research on what you're signing and what you're going into. Because to say that is one of the most ridiculous things you could possibly say. To me, what he should have said, if he did the knowledge and did the thing, if you're going to go this direction, you should say, "I'm going to make this the real belt." Now Zuffa has the real champion because I came here, and all these other guys are fighting for a fake belt because I have the real one. This don't have no history. I'm going to make it historic. This don't have any prestige. I'm going to make it prestigious. That's what he should have said. He should have put that Zuffa belt right around his shoulder. That's what I would have done, and said, "Anyone wants this belt, you know where to find me." That's exactly what he should have did. But these guys don't have the charisma I have. They don't have the talking ability I have. They don't have the wits that I have, and that's the problem. What he did there was ridiculous. It sounds stupid. It made no sense, and it really just kind of like, what the hell's going on here? So and now you eliminate any really interesting fight that Jai Opetaia could have had, which he needs is interesting fights, because the one thing you complain about Jai Opetaia is the guys he fights are not interesting. And the one time where he gets a potential winner, Zurdo Benavidez, he dips out. So is what it is.
So what does that tell you about Jai Opetaia?
You don't want that fight.
Oh, yeah. I think people not understanding, man. The anybody but Benavidez things continues, man. It's so crazy to me. But I think one factor that people are not talking about when TKO and Dana White and all these guys announced this venture into boxing they said they were only going to do the original 8 weight classes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cruiserweight, not an original 8 weight class. So is Ja Opataya going to be unifying at cruiserweight, or is he going to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of Zuffa boxing? That's what I'm thinking about.
You think they come back and say the original 8 plus 1?
Who knows? Who knows? They signed Effie Ajagba. Okay. They signed Charles Martin. Maybe they're building up these guys to fight Ja Opataya, and they're going to let Ja Opataya be the face of the heavyweight division. So I don't know what they're doing with that. It's disappointing. It really is, because this guy has been at cruiserweight his entire career and just refuses to fight the other champions. He just refuses to fight the other champions. He had a chance to fight Zerto. He had a chance to fight Chris Billow-Smith. Now he had a chance to fight Noel McCallan. Is that fight going to happen? Who knows? Maybe McCallan can sign to Zuffa. Maybe he's not doing anything. And they can just fight each other over there. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's, whatever.
So here's the one thing that I think people are wrong at. They said, oh, that's the first big name to go to Zuffa. I don't think that's a big name. I think boxing fans are sometimes too much in the weeds on these boxers that they think they're big names. I don't think Ja Opataya is a big name at all. I don't think casuals are like, oh, wow, Ja Opataya signed with them. I don't think that's the case at all.
Dude, I think casuals say, who?
Exactly. Right? So my question to you is,
and apparently his name is Jay Opataya. And we've been saying it wrong this whole time.
We're saying it right.
Apparently.
No,
that's
but we're
bad
saying
name.
it right.
It's Jai.
Yeah, we're saying it right, though, because Jai sounds better. Okay. So whenever it sounds better, right. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, okay. So we talked about this a long time ago, Matt. We talked about these guys that were maybe higher level fighters, but were not big names that we could see going to Zuffa. We did see that as a potential that could happen. Do you see this becoming pretty commonplace now with guys that we know are not going to be necessarily big names in boxing, as far as like the standard boxing with the belts and all that and pay-per-view sellers, that they just go to a more consistent schedule and maybe a lighter touch, less competition? Do you see that as more commonplace now? And will we lose maybe more contenders in these divisions that aren't big names?
Depends on how much money they're making.
Okay.
And what's the roadmap for them?
I mean, look at we last night we had a Golden Boy card, right? And I don't think any of those guys were printing money, right? But they were fighting for the potential of getting to these mega fights and make millions of dollars. And the truth is that a lot of them are not going to get to that point. If you're going to bet that any of those guys on that card will ever get there, you could put a bet that maybe the more likely bet is that none of these guys ever get to that level, right? But if you could tell these guys, hey, why don't you come here? You're not going to fight for millions, but you could fight for, $200 to $400K a fight and fight 4 times a year. I think a lot of those guys might be like, hey, you know what? That's better what I got going on here, because what I have here is a gamble. At that point right there, at least it's like some kind of money I could base myself on. I do think that there might be a thing where you do lose some contenders to Zuffa.
So Matt, real quick, just one thing you said about the 8 weight classes. I can't find any direct quotes from Dana or TKO about it, but I do find it interesting that 11 days ago, an article from Boxing Scene talking about their January 23rd launch event has a line that says, Zuffa also seeks to rank its own fighters and award its own title belts in at least 8 weight classes. This is 11 days ago, before the Jai Opataya signing.
That's funny. That is funny.
Maybe they'll get cruiserweight and name it the correct name that it should have been this whole time.
That at least, I think, is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
It is.
What it should have been named the whole time?
Light heavyweight.
Well, we already had a light heavyweight.
I know it's incorrectly named. That should be renamed to something else, and cruiserweight should be renamed to light heavyweight.
Well, cruiserweight used to be called junior heavyweight.
I hate that. Light heavyweight is the correct name for that.
So you're gonna change one of the original 8 weight classes
Yes,
just
to
to
the
fit
new
in
name.
cruiser.
Yeah, because
I
the
don't like
problem
it.
is the original 8, it made sense because that was the next weight, and then you went to heavyweight. So you
I
had
don't
the light
like it.
heavyweight. That made sense. When you add another weight, you got to make that now the new light heavyweight, and then you do something with you do something with that weight, change it to something else. I don't know.
Or get rid of the fucking weight class.
Wait, what do you mean get rid of the weight class?
Get
Make
rid
it
of
Bridgerweight.
Wait, get rid of cruiserweight?
Yeah,
Why? Why would you get rid of cruiserweight?
because it's not necessary.
You know, the funny thing to me, I never understood this, and we're going to get off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I never got it. And me and my brothers used to always talk about it. Why isn't cruiserweight more popular, and why doesn't it have more talent? You think, like, you walk around, you see a lot of guys around 220 pounds when you walk around. There's a lot of people, hell, in these spaces, most people are like over 6 feet and around 220 pounds, 230 pounds. If they got in
Some
shape,
of
they'd
us
be
is around
195
400
pounds.
pounds.
You should have, like, in the UFC, right? 205 is like a pretty was always pretty like good division, and there were always a lot of people interested in that division because it was like, okay, these guys are big but they can move around. But yeah, in boxing, no one gives a crap about cruiserweight, and it's like, well, these guys kind of big, kind of hit hard, kind of move around, but we're not necessarily getting the talent that I think we should have. There should be way more Americans in this division, I think, because if you get around that weight and you're really skilled, talented, probably go play another sport. But I'm just saying, though, this weight should be way more interesting than it is.
No, yeah. If you're the size of a cruiserweight in America, you're gonna try to be a linebacker or you're gonna try to be a point guard.
Honestly, okay, this is the problem when we have a cruiserweight, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. It should really not be. I'm honest. I'm really getting to something here. Okay, Jake Paul, right, kind of makes sense for cruiserweight. Because cruiserweight should really be just a bunch of athletic guys that are just kind of new to boxing. That's really what the weight class should be. It should be a bunch of guys that failed at football, failed at baseball, and failed at basketball, and like, hey, just come here and fight in cruiserweight. That's really what it should be. And I think the mistake we have is we allow German fighters, or basically like this like world view of like allow. Now this is, like I said, we're going far here. I think it should be American only. I think cruiserweight should be American only. We should only allow Americans that have failed.
Okay. As we get on, we got to move on. This is
let's since we're talking about cruiserweight and Gervonta TKO, let's move into the EzRaw breakdown, the EzRaw report card, because he's going to be doing a report card for Zuffa's first card. Take it away,
it's not great. It's not great. I don't get why this is the first.
Read the fights first. Read the fights.
Let me get
yeah. Pull it up before you.
So I got it here for you. So we got Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo. We got Misal Rodriguez versus Austin Deanda, and Julian Rodriguez versus Kane Sandoval.
Yeah, it's not a good card. I mean, that's just the truth of it. I'm trying to be positive this year. I think I've been pretty positive today. It's not a good card. With Zuffa, what I do, there is one thing that I think that they are doing correctly is they are coming into it very, very, very slowly. They are easing their way into boxing, and they are doing it with like at least 100% no risk because they're doing this at the apex. So they are not trying to put on a show. They're doing this in their garage basically, and that's fine because they don't understand the sport yet. So you would have to like work your way through it. You will have to build these names eventually. Their whole thing is going to be consistency. If they can put a card on every week and people just be like, I don't have to think about it, because this is what I realize Americans and people don't want to do. They don't want to think. They just want it to be in front of them, right? When I go, like, here's the most insane thing if you really think about it, right? You have the remote for the TV, and you thought, this is fantastic. I could do whatever I want with this and all that. And you know what we used to do when we got the remote? Like, the one thing is that you do with the remote, what do we watch? Oh, there's nothing. And you just go through the thing and you go through it and you never find anything. And people that was for forever. That's what we did. Then TikTok came out and it was like, I'm going to tell you what to watch. You're just going to go and I'm going to throw something at you. And then that's going to grab your attention. And people were like, I love this. I never knew I love fly fishing so much. I live in New York, but I love fly fishing. I never knew that. I never knew I loved watching a guy cut grass so much. But hell, I do it. I wouldn't watch my gardener do it. I sure as hell don't want to do it, but I'll watch this guy go cut some grass in Detroit. Okay. So that's what people do. Like, this is the thing, is that people just want stuff thrown at them. So if Zuffa Boxing can have an event every weekend, and even with not the highest level guys, but they just kind of build their own little world there, people will tune in and probably get the mind stuck on it because people just want something easy to find. The problem with boxing is it's so damn hard to find. I mean, how much people listening to this probably don't even know that there was a fight last night, and a damn good one at that. A very fun card happened last night, but you couldn't find it. No one told you. Hell, if I don't post it on my Twitter, it probably no one tells you there's a fight happening right now. So that's the thing, is where they're going to be the thing. They have guys fighting in a garage next weekend. That's the truth of it. They're putting their money on a guy in Colin Walsh that they're going to try to make into a star that doesn't have it at a world level. Okay, just does not have it at a world level. But that's the guy they're saying we're going to put our faith on. That's the guy they're saying this is the guy we're going to build into a star. I give this card an F. Okay, and this is my first F, and this might be my last F. So this is an F. This is not.
You've never given anyone an F before.
I know. This is an F. This is not a good card. This is not the way you roll out, to me, an event when you do have bigger names. They did sign bigger names. They should have put those bigger names on the first event. Okay, I don't think this is the way to go. But like I said, they're doing the slow rollout here, slow playing it. Probably financially the best decision that they could do. But it's all going to be consistency for them. That's really what it's going to be.
I have nothing else to add.
What did you pick for Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo?
Colin Walsh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go with Callum Walsh.
By decision. I want to make that clear.
Callum Walsh by knockout.
Okay.
All right. So we got those in the books for next week. Now let's move on to quick hits here. Actually, we have some football games today. We don't have much boxing. The boxing was missed. Like Ezra said, you probably missed it. But Ezra, tell us what your Rams are going to do before we get into quick hits.
Let me tell you something about the Rams, right? And I keep telling you guys, and listen, I'm honest. I said, listen, what did I tell you guys about the Panthers? Everybody said blowout. I said, that's going to be a tough one, right? We might have to escape by on that one. And that's what we did. We escaped by. But sometimes, right, you just have the right quarterback and you got the right coach. And something about, to me, McVay knows how to coach him up in the playoffs. He does not become a worse coach in the playoffs. I think he actually becomes better. The best coach in the world becomes better in the playoffs. I think Matthew Stafford, who might be the best quarterback in the world, becomes better in the playoffs. He locks in. Now, will he throw an interception once in a while? Sure he'll do that, right? But he's also going to throw you about 3 or 4 touchdowns, okay? That's also what he's going to do. Now, this defense, like I said, the pass rush has potential. They have star power there. They're not performing at the highest level that I would like for them to do that. And our corners cannot afford for our pass rush to not perform at the highest level for them to defend guys. I am really worried about Caleb Williams avoiding my pass rush, running out and extending plays where I think my corners will fall apart and be exposed in extended plays like that. I don't think it's good. But you know what? I'm not a fan of Mother Nature. There's no point with the technology we have today, should you be playing in bad weather. Every game should feel like you're playing in your front room. It should be 70 degrees. There should be no wind, and you should be playing under bright lights. That's the way everyone should be played, because this is literally America, and we're a modern civilization. But because people want to live primitively, we still have to go play in the snow. But I think the snow is actually going to help us, because I think Caleb Williams is not going to be able to make the plays that he wants to make. It's going to be tougher to run around. It's going to be tougher for wide receivers to break loose. And it's going to be tougher to make those throws off one leg, cutting through all that wind and all that snow. I think the Rams are going to pull this game out. I think the Rams are going to pull away late to a big lead. I'm going to take Stafford because I believe in Stafford. I believe in that arm, and I believe in McVay's brain.
Do you have a bet for the people this weekend?
I do. It's 3-leg parlay. Stand corrected. 4-leg parlay. We're going to take the money line, the Rams, money line, the Seahawks, Houston. I'm going to take the points +3. Buffalo, I'm going to take the points plus 1.5. And that 4-leg parlay will get you +610. Once again, Rams, money line. Seattle, money line. Houston, +3. And Bills, +1.5. And I will get you a 4-leg parlay +610. I hit last week. I'm going to hit this week.
Did you hear that, Matt? He said 3, and then he went 4, then 3, then 4. That was like 3 times 9 all over again.
Yeah, I know. 24. All right. I have a very simple bet. It's not a parlay. It's a single straight bet. The Buffalo Bills, even money, +100 against the Denver Broncos. $100 wins you $100. Take the Bills to win the game outright. Josh Allen continues his trek to the Super Bowl.
I don't hate that bet. I love that bet actually. I love it.
Very simple bet. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
All right, Matt, you have anything on these games?
Well, I believe the Rams are not going to beat the Bears. I think the Bears are a team of destiny. They just get the job done somehow, some way.
Hope.
And I think the Rams are going to have problems playing in that snow and that cold weather because their best receiver, their leading receiver, Puka Nacua, he is a yards after catch merchant. You know, that snow could make you a step slower, you know, which is going to be very hard for him to be as fast and physical as he is. So I think the Bears are going to pull it out. I do have the 49ers upsetting the Seahawks. I just think the 49ers defensively have the Seahawks number. I'm expecting Sam Darnold to play like Sam Darnold. He's going into this game with an oblique injury. He has not thrown a touchdown against the 49ers all year. So I think that continues. I got the Houston Texans over the New England Patriots. I think it's a bit early for Drake May. I think that Houston defense is going to cause him a lot of issues. And I think that the offense, without Nico Collins, you would think that the offense is going to do worse. But I think that's just going to make C.J. Stroud just throw it to the open man. Whoever's open, you throw the fucking ball at them and stop thinking too hard. And then, like I said, I have the Buffalo Bills upsetting the Denver Broncos.
All right. And there you have it. And if you want to hear more of the breakdown of the games from this weekend, go on to the Matt's. Is it Matt? Is it on your Twitter page or is it on the Brunch Boxing page for the NFL?
It's on my Twitter page.
On Matt's Twitter page at @isthatyourface, you can go listen to us along with Trill and Blair discussing this weekend's matchups. Before we get into quick hits, I want to get into the questions from the audience. So, two somewhat related questions from Rosebud Ice Cream Listener of the Year. One, does it mean that Opatile will only fight guys from TKO? And then also, do you think it's more likely that Bridgerweight gets added by more sanctioning bodies or gets abandoned altogether?
Go ahead, Ezra.
I don't think Bridgerweight's going to happen. I think Bridgerweight is like a fetch, or it's not going to happen. You know, what I mean, stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen. I thought there was potential for it, but whatever. It is what it is.
Opatile crossover with other promotions, or will he only fight TKO guys?
I don't see why TKO would do that. I'm not sure. I don't get the financial thing, but I do remember them saying like, oh, they're going to have the 4 mega events and, you know, they'll put, they'll make the fights, whatever. But I don't think so. I think he's just going to fight on their guys on their cards.
Matt, you have any thoughts on Jai Opatile and who he might fight if he will fight outside of TKO's roster?
I mean, there's no reason for us to believe that he will fight outside of TKO's roster because Dana White has said that they're not going to work with other promoters. So there's no reason to believe that. As for Bridgerweight, I think Bridgerweight is here to stay. I think being that the WBA also added Bridgerweight, now you have 2 of the major sanctioned bodies with it. I think eventually the IBF and the WBO will follow suit. And one thing people are not understanding about Bridgerweight is a very popular division in Russia. The Russians love it. They have a lot of IBA events out there.
Is it because it sounds like they made it up? Bridgerweight. Like it sounds like something a Russian would say. Like
hey, don't talk about my people. Okay. So I think it's here to stay. But it's gonna be Eurocentric. It's gonna be similar to Cruiserweight, very Eurocentric.
Talent Cruiserweight should be Americans only. I keep telling you guys.
Okay. And now this has been a weird episode. We got Matt talking down on Tank. We haven't had a rumor report in 2 weeks. Ezra's trying to magify Cruiserweight. This is a weird episode. Moving into quick hits. Gonna start off with a question from the show. Friend J.R. Bell says, is IVB on quick hits or did he miss the segment? Matt, what's he talking about?
Bro. I am not discussing that IVB bullshit. Okay? Ed Pereira promised us some huge fucking announcement. It's gonna change boxing. You got people thinking that they're gonna announce some big fight. Oh, Wilder versus Usyk. It's gonna be huge. 150,000. These motherfuckers announced that they're gonna be on YouTube and they're gonna try to break a Guinness record for attendance, and they're gonna have 12 shows a year. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't like getting blue balls from boxing. I really don't. Don't promise me something and then deliver nothing, Ezra.
The part where I've realized that this is probably not going to work out is when he said boxing and musical festival. Those are two things. I don't get how long it takes people to learn that does not work. People are not going to a boxing fight to go to a music festival. I'm sorry, and people aren't going to a music festival to watch a boxing fight. Stop trying to mix these things. I don't get it. I don't get why people think these combined in any way, but it has not worked for anyone who has tried. Please do not.
Well, why can't they just make boxing?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, to me, you know what I mean? Like, no one says like, hey, well, I guess the halftime show. I don't know, maybe the halftime show. Maybe that's why this is. Does everything come from the halftime show? Does everyone be like, we need our version of the halftime show?
Ezra, you've seen Arrested Development, right? I know Matt hasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like when Portia and her husband are talking about stuff, and it's like couples therapy doesn't work for anyone, but it might work for us. This is literally every
Exactly.
boxing promoter when they see this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So moving on with quick hits. Amanda Serrano offers to fight Amanda Nunes as Kayla Harrison pulls out of their fight. Should the UFC accept?
Yes.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? That would make perfect sense, but they won't do it.
They won't do it because they cannot risk their girl getting beat by Amanda Serrano, which won't happen, by the way.
No, it won't happen. But be a lot of fun though. Like, is the UFC against fun these days? I think they are. I think they really are.
No, honestly, the UFC is a bit like the Brunch Boxing historian J-Ro. They don't like fun.
They don't like fun.
They don't like fun.
And he does not like fun.
They also don't like losing money, and they'd have to pay Serrano a lot of money because she's not one of their fighters.
Yeah, but I think
people would tune in.
Yes.
I do too.
Remember, she did huge. They've done big numbers before her just boxing. If they said she's gonna go fight Amanda Nunes, like, yeah, I think that would do good numbers.
Yeah, and you know what? It would make me tune into Paramount.
That's true.
It really would.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna do that next week when Zupa fights, but we'll see what happens there.
All right, and
you
then
get a Paramount subscription?
I've always had a Paramount subscription. I have every.
What is on Paramount?
I have no idea. I never turned into it, but I have every subscription you could possibly think of. If there's
do you have the cock?
A Peacock, yes, of course.
Great service.
I had to emphasize.
Paramount had something at one point. Oh, Paramount used to have Showtime Boxing. That's why I had it.
Yep. Also, I believe CBS Football, right, is on Paramount.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, you can watch CBS Football on your TV.
I don't have the rabbit ears.
All right, Matt, last thing we got for the day. Your guy, Ozlez Iglesias, has an accepted opponent for the vacant title shot, Pavel Silyagin. What do we think about this?
Did you just call him gay?
Silyagin.
No,
Pavel Silyagin.
Sound like you said Ozlez the gay.
No, Ozlez Iglesias.
Oh, yeah, my guy.
Your guy, Ozlez Iglesias.
Also, nothing wrong with being gay either. Just to put it out there. No, why that would offend him.
Oh man, what a show! Anyway, Matt, who wins this fight? I don't even know who this opponent is. Can you shed some light for the audience and myself?
No, I can't. Why would you put me on the spot like that?
You did that. That's what you do to me.
All right, I'll tell you who he is. All right, he is a Russian-born professional boxer who held the WBC silver super middleweight. As of 2022, he is ranked the world's 7th best active super middleweight by Transatlantic Boxing Board and 9th by BoxRec. Yeah, he's 16-1. No, 16-0 with a draw, and he has 7 knockouts. His draw was with Evgeny Shevchenko. He has fought a who's who of guys whose names end in V.
Is this going to be Osles Iglesias' first TBRB top 10 opponent?
Yes.
All right, so he's going to make some moves in the competition index.
Yeah.
He will.
Yeah. Obviously, I believe Osles Iglesias is going to win. That's why I drafted him in my draft. And he's going to have to do some heavy lifting since my number 2 pick will not be there for me this year. So I think Osles is going to win. I think he's going to win in style. This guy doesn't have the power to keep Osles off of him. I think it's going to end the same way the Shinsuke fight ended, probably a late TKO.
I agree.
Interestingly enough, these guys do have a common opponent. Both of these guys fought Isaac Chilemba, and both of them went UD12 with Isaac Chilemba.
All right. Ezra, you got anything for the people before Matt sends them home?
I do not.
All right, Matt.
Man, interesting show. Good show, but interesting show.
Honestly, can I be honest with you? It's been our best show in the past 5 weeks. I got to tell you, this has been our best show in the past 5 weeks. This is a great show.
Honestly, there was a lot more
meat on the bone.
Contentious debate than usual, because you think that contract law in every state in the country.
That's the thing.
The
one thing I stated clearly enough was I don't have the contract.
No, we're not gonna get into it no more. We're just gonna put it on a spreadsheet somehow, so that we can see who's right, who's wrong about this. Because now I'm ticked off about it, and it's really bugging me. And I hate that you do this all the time. It pisses me off. I'm reading something. I'm telling you what it is.
No, I get what you're
reading.
And
then you're like, I'm not sure about that. I'm literally telling you what it is.
Okay.
What is your fucking problem?
I'm just telling you. We had an argument like this before, and we never really kind of settled it. I think I was right, but we never really went to the bottom of it.
Hey, you know what's funny? Of course you think you were right. But I'm betting you can't even remember what the argument was. You just you were right.
That's the thing. But I think I was right about it. I really do.
It's easy to be right if you don't remember the argument.
It is, but I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty sure I was right.
But,
you know why though, Matt? Can I tell you why? Because I don't keep score. I don't keep score. It's not my thing.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you keep score with your wife?
I do. That I do, and I got a good track record.
You should not be keeping score with your wife, dude.
I keep score.
It's gonna backfire one day. We do have a question from Rosebud Ice Cream that I think goes to Huey. Yes. What are the current scores for the picks contest?
So the current scores for the pick contest, after 2 weeks, we have, both of you whiffed on Matias. You both got Cabell by knockout. And then we went over the first week's results. So Ezra has gotten 2 fights with both the fighter and decision. So he has a total of 4 points. Matt has gotten 3 fights right with both the winner and method of victory. And then he got Serrano as being the winner, but he picked by stoppage. So Matt is winning right now 7-4.
It's close.
Listen, nobody's surprised.
Did we pick the Curiel fight?
No, hold on. Bro, how we gonna do the Curiel fight when Rocha pulled out, dumbass? What's wrong with this guy? But I did take Curiel though, and I think you took Rocha, by the way.
First one, no.
So that shit kind of went for me.
BS. I did
but
we won't get into that. We didn't do the picks for yesterday's fight.
You know what's funny though? Can I point out? I just asked a simple question and I get disrespected. Simple question. That's all I asked.
No, because here's the thing. I think anyone that tunes in to this show every week, they know what it is. They listen. My guy Sam, the cream executive officer of Rosebud Ice Cream, okay, the unofficial sponsor of Brunch Boxing, he understands that I am going to stomp you out in this contest.
You're not.
He just wants the public to know. The reason why he presented this idea to us is because he knows that I am better than you when it comes to breaking down the sport of boxing and understanding what it is we're watching and picking winners. He knows that. And he just wants it to be exposed to the public. That is why he came up with this contest for us and this scoring system for us, because he wants to see me be great. So Sam,
midway through the year, you're
no, no,
gonna
no,
hear
no.
Matt be
Sam,
like, "Do we
Sam,
have to talk about it? Do we
Sam,
have to bring it
Sam,
up?" That's what you're gonna hear.
Rosebud ice cream, the greatest ice cream in California. I really do need to test your product. Sam, you are the real MVP. You knew what you were doing.
Sam
You
Rose
put
has
me in
a
a position
winner
to
as a
win.
prize for the winner at the end of the year, a Rosebud hoodie.
Oh, you're gonna have to get that in like 5XL for me, buddy.
Might have to get 5 sweaters in time together. Now, saying you want to test the product from the cream executive officer is pretty insane. I gotta tell you.
Hey, we're leaving pause in 2025. Although yesterday I did an interview with Prince Patel where I had to break my own rule and pause him because he said something so egregious that I don't even think it could be repeated in front of children. It was so egregious. So egregious.
I'll make sure that one gets uploaded with an explicit warning, Matt.
Yes, yes, yes,
All right,
yes.
but before we go, be sure to check out the website. You can read the latest news at brunchboxing.com. Be sure to follow the host, follow everyone at Brunch Boxing, at EzRaw Boxing, at IsThatYourFace. Follow us Twitter, Instagram. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, check out the podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. We place it up there every week after the show airs on Saturdays. Matt, tell them what you got for the people and send us home.
Oh, you forgot the most important part.
Oh, hit the Cash App. Hit the
Hit the
Cash App.
Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the Cash App. I'm waiting for Huey to put the graphic up on the screen.
That's
Big
always on the
graphic.
screen, man. It's under your name.
Nah,
That's
that's
under your
too
name.
small. It's too small. It's too small. It's too
All
small.
right. I got you.
We need the big graphic. Cover. Yeah, there we go. Dollar sign is that your face. Hit the Cash
I
App.
cannot
support the
emphasize
platform.
enough, and this I've never said this before. Please hit that Cash App. I cannot emphasize enough. Please hit that Cash App. Please. I'm begging.
Yeah, if you want to support Matt, hit the Cash App. If you want to support the show, actually listening through Spotify and Apple Podcasts will help going forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you guys hear the chaos happening in my house?
Yeah,
Is that
I don't
your
know what's
baby?
going on, but you got to go check that out.
Oh,
Is that your
God.
baby?
Let me tell you something. I'm about to walk into hell right now. I'll tell you that right now. Whatever's going down there, it's gonna be a situation.
This is the first time Ezra does not want to end the show.
You don't have no more quick hits, huh?
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ. But listen, go check out the interview that we did with Prince Patel. A very interesting interview. In the upcoming week, we do have interviews with Puerto Rican contender Joshua Pagan. He will be a guest on the show. Also, Caroline There will be a guest on the show. She's
Who?
looking. She is one of the best fighters in all of women boxing.
No, say her last name. We couldn't hear it.
Oh, Caroline There.
Oh, okay. She thought I was insulting her, huh?
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
come
we
on,
couldn't hear
man.
it.
Like, what are we
It
doing
went quiet.
here? What are we
I
doing
just
here?
want to make sure you didn't say Levitt. Okay.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, she's gonna be she is the WBC. Well, she's gonna be fighting Delphine Pursoon for the WBC Women's Super Featherweight Championship coming up soon. And then Joshua Pagan, who's gonna be headlining the card, he's also gonna be on the show. He is one of the best prospects slash contenders in the 130-pound division. And he's going to be a guest. Like, we got a lot of content coming up. We also have Jahan Ingram coming up on the show. For fans that want to go check that out. I don't have a set date and time yet, but he will be on the show soon. We're going to lock that in. Like, we have a lot of interviews coming up. So make sure you guys support the platform, listen to the platform, subscribe, give us 5 stars on every platform, and as always, hit the Cash App. This shit is time consuming. or I will be coming to a neighborhood near you if you don't. All right.
Wrap the show up. Wrap the show up. Wrap the show up.
Huey, when can we expect the Chris Houston interview to be posted?
That'll be posted here this weekend, today or tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, check out the interview.
Along with the Prince Patel interview and today's show.
And I gotta warn you guys on the Prince Patel interview, listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, don't listen with your kids in the car.
Yeah, and don't listen to it on speaker.
Like this is don't listen to it with your kids in the car. Make sure you have headphones if you're walking through your neighborhood. Like you listen to it when on your own.
Yeah, I usually don't put this kind of disclaimer out there, but this interview was unhinged. And I've had someone talk about being kidnapped at a screwdriver point in Colombia on the show before, and this was even more unhinged. All right, so go check us out, support us. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Appreciate all the listeners. Sibby Boxing, Rosebud, my guy, even this guy, my hater, Brick Squad. I don't know why this guy's always hating on me. These guys really hate on me for no reason, man. All I said was I hope the man get the help that he needs. And they said, oh, why are you defending Tank? Bro, you want me to wish bad on someone? No, I want them to get help. I don't want women out there getting beat up.
We already did this. We already did this segment, Matt. We already did this segment.
It's pissing me off, man. Shout out to Sean Mullen. Shout out to J.R. Bell. Swedish chef who randomly announced the death of Joe Rogan, who has not died. I guess they wanted us to see it and then say something on the show.
Can I be honest?
Which you did.
Can I be honest?
Joe Rogan is not
Joe
dead.
Rogan just to make sure he wasn't dead.
I did too.
I did too.
Rogan is not dead.
We all did.
Shout out to Gritty from the Underground, my guy, Johnny, everybody that joined us, everyone's going to listen in the future. The COO, the Mexican Al Heyman, Mike, the host, the John Matt of Boxing, EzRaw Boxing, the master marionette himself, the super producer, Huey P. I am Matt. We are Brunch Boxing, and we are out.